Hey everyone, welcome to Blood, Guts, and Social Commentary. Today I'm going to have a special guest on the program, Critical Android.
Hi.
You guys may remember I jumped over to his channel for a little bit, and he also narrated that horror story. So today we are going to be talking about things that should not have been scary from our childhood that totally were.
Childhood, obviously, when you're looking at things from the eyes of a child, you have a completely different perspective on them than you do as an adult. And it's funny how it can work where sometimes you watch something as a kid and are absolutely terrified by it, and then grow older, look back, and it's like, I was really scared of that? But then there's times where you do look back and realize, I probably should have been more afraid of that than I was as a kid.
Yeah.
And it's weird how that naivety and innocence can play both ways when it comes to the way you look at the world.
There was this fabulous Patton Oswalt joke or bit. He was talking about his daughter. He had turned on the TV, and it was Benicio del Toro's freaking Wolfman. It was like the transformation where he's all like screaming and turning, and he freaked out and changed it because he was like, this is going to scare my daughter. And changed it to, it was some kind of old cartoon with skeletons dancing. And he said later that night she was screaming and said that she was afraid her skeleton was going to come out of her body and dance. And then about halfway through her tantrum, she just started cracking up. And he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, Puppy was wearing a sweater. So the thing that should have been scary wasn't, but the thing that was totally innocent wasn't.
Well, that's why Andrew Gould wrote that song about spooky, scary skeletons that send shivers down your spine.
Mm-hmm. Or,
Quick fact there, it is Andrew Gould wrote that song, who's mostly known for writing the Golden Girls theme song, Thank You for Being a Friend. And most people don't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, see? This is what I bring to the table here. Things completely outside of the horror genre, because I'm really just a pop culture aficionado of so many things. It's astounding and geeky, and that's why I don't really have a life. So, yeah.
That's why I was just going to make the joke about 30 Rock, where they had Tracy Morgan's character write a song called Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
I do know that, even though I never really watched much of 30 Rock, but I am aware of that.
Yeah, it was spooky, scary.
Speaking of the spooky, scary stuff, I'm interested to find out, considering how much you've been immersed in horror, what scared you as a kid?
Okay, this first one actually, I'm pretty sure is the reason I learned to operate the VCR. It's Fern Gully, and it was Hexus, I believe was the name, and he was like this big pollution monster.
Yes.
I went and looked at GIFs of this the other day, and I realized there were way more disturbing scenes than what sticks out in my brain, because there was like that whole skeleton coming out with the lightning flashing out of that goop. There was the whole song Toxic Love. But what flipped me out was when he went through the machine and his body was like going through the gears. That just messed with me. I had to fast forward there every single time.
I can picture it in my head, and I even remember some of the lyrics. It's like, I see the world and all the people in it. I suck them dry and eat them up like spinach. Because greedy human beings will always lend a hand to the destruction of this beautiful jungle land.
Yeah, because...
And I don't know why I remember that, because I haven't seen that or heard that song in, God, a decade, and I still know it.
Yeah, 90s childhood movies had so much subtlety in them.
Yeah, damn you, Tim Curry. And that's one of the reasons why it's creepy. It's just because it's goddamn Tim Curry.
I just now realized, like you said that. Yeah, fucking what's Tim Curry?
Yeah, it's Pennywise himself. When you've got him doing it, you can't really eliminate the creep factor from it.
No, yeah, that was like my number one thing. That's like the one thing I took from childhood. I'm like, that was creepy as hell, and I just didn't like it. I'm a little afraid to go back and watch it again and see.
Oh no, it's completely tame. I'm surprised that you were scared by that. I was just more, I don't know, annoyed by it because I thought it was detracting from the protagonist's plight, and I wanted to find out what was going on with Zach and his fairy friend, whose name I can't remember. The fact that I remember his name is Zach just bothers me. Batty was there too, but yeah. I found the song to be more annoying because it was taking away from the protagonist.
So it's the Disney syndrome where as a kid, you're like, why won't you get back to the story? And, now that you're an adult, you probably like the music more.
Oh, yeah. Now going back, it's the villain songs that are the most interesting ones.
Also, to be fair, I just looked up the year. It was done in 92. So had I seen it in theaters, I would have been 4. So
I would have been 7, so
yeah.
a little bit older than you, enough to appreciate it. But I saw it on VHS, and it wasn't really that scary.
Yeah, I saw it on VHS as well. I was just like, I would have assumed we got it fairly close to the release. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah, it would have been somewhere within like the 6-month time period. But regardless, you were still young enough to where certain cartoons could be creepy.
Yeah.
And Tim Curry, like you said, is just the voice and his cadence and his demeanor, and that very, I don't want to say sultry, but it is kind of a sultry voice in a way with its alluring tone to it.
Yeah, it's trying to, beckon you into pollution, I guess.
Yeah, he's channeling Dr. Frankenfurter with that sexuality in almost every role that he does, in a way, aside from Pennywise. But, Hexus does have that come hither kind of a siren song, but from a male perspective, I guess.
Yeah, no, I knew enough about the human body to know it shouldn't be able to do that because, it was humanoid enough that I couldn't really tell it was supposed to be, like, smoke or whatever, I guess. Like, when you look back at it, yeah, it's totally pollution, but I'm just like, wait, what's that thing? It's clearly, like, this human body. Why is it going through gears?
Well, that brings up an important point, too, about why people get weirded out or creeped out by things. And, you mentioned this in doll horror when you were covering that. But, things that resemble humans or things that resemble people but aren't. We have, from a young age, we're biologically programmed to recognize faces to the point where there's even, a disease of, propofisnacia, or I'm mispronouncing it.
Yeah, it's when you can't recognize the face.
Right. And so, it's a disorder. It's a psychological disorder when you can't recognize faces like that. And the fact that we're supposed to be able to do that, like it's supposed to be programmed into us, when we recognize a face but it doesn't quite look right, or when we recognize the human figure and it doesn't quite look right, it can put us on guard because it's just not the way it's supposed to be, which also ties into things like the Native American skinwalker stories that you hear, where an animal or whatever is being emulated is almost exactly a perfect copy except for one trait that isn't right. And it's that thing being off that causes the fear. And for me, one of the things that did that, and this is going to sound absolutely ridiculous, but you can look it up, there was I guess they're called bumpers. They're like interstitial, not commercials, but ads, bumpers that would air on cable television, specifically movie channels, and the movie channel, which I don't even know if it still runs anymore, but it was called the movie channel.
Yeah, no, I didn't have it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and there was this one bumper that they had that would run in between movies to kill time, where it was just their logo, which was like a clipboard that had the movie channel on it, but it had a face, or part of a face, like a person's eye, and it would play up this dramatic music, and then the eye would wink at you, and it would make this ding sound, and the music would fade out. And it doesn't sound creepy, but when you're like a 5-year-old kid and you're seeing this face on the screen with this dramatic music playing behind it, and it's winking at you, it's a little creepy.
That's understandable.
Well, for some people it is. For me, I think it's an understandable fear, but looking back at it now even, it's like, yeah, that music is really out of place for this.
Yeah, it could have been a mixture in the music, and a lot of stuff, I feel like I say this a lot on the channel, it's just, kind of go to Uncanny Valley a lot, but that's what it is. It is what it is. We are programmed to know what people look like, as you said. There's also why, kids, babies, human or animal, have such big eyes, as it's less likely for the mother to reject it.
Right. And you see this a lot in anime as well, though, the big eye style, because people tend to attach themselves more to big eyes. Not only are they more expressive, but they somehow draw you in that kind of evocative way of expressing emotion or innocence or like wide-eyed and cute, however you want to put it. But it's used effectively in art too, outside of biology, to convey emotion.
Yeah, exactly. And we should be relating to this thing, but we aren't, because there's something just wrong enough about it, which in our hindbrain is saying we should reject this from the species. But as a kid, yeah, you can't really do that.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I missed out on so much from the movie channel just because I was so afraid of that damn logo. Ah, well. But yeah, so the Uncanny Valley was that for me.
This concludes part 1 of our look at unintentionally scary things from our childhood. Next time, Critical and I will be discussing more about the Uncanny Valley. As always, if you like what you're seeing, please hit like, comment, subscribe. If you don't like what you're seeing, leave a comment and let me know. Thank you.